Please do not decide not to make this recipe because you think you know what Thumbprint cookies are. Today, we're going to be making some Christmas cookies. The Christmas cookies that I want to share with you guys are called Thumbprint cookies. And these come from the old Betty Crocker cookbook. So I recently got mine off of eBay and it's falling apart, so I'll be restoring that soon. Okay, at the top of the page of this cookbook it says, sprightly tea cakes for friends and family. Every page has this cute little thing at the top. It says different things. Some of them say, this one says, gay shapes for holiday and year-round cheer. Taste tempters and fascinating shapes. Fascinating. Okay, so these are the sprightly tea cakes. So they're a little bit fancy. Now I'll tell you, if you make it the old way with the sparkling jelly, I don't think it's so great. But here's where I got the idea that turned these cookies around. Go to the end, fill thumbprints with chopped candied fruit, no. Sparkling jelly, no. Or tinted confectioner's sugar icing. I read this as buttercream. So I made buttercream and wow. So it's not what the recipe book suggests at all, but buttercream in these cookies is so good. It is so good. Please do not decide not to make this recipe because you think you know what Thumbprint cookies are. This is so good. I'm going to tell you how to make it really, really good. One of the other things that you want to do is use as many nuts as it takes. So I think it will take more than the 3/4 cup. You're going to need to use as many as it takes. Coat those things completely. I love these antique recipes. So it begins with 1/2 cup of soft shortening, half butter. We are not going to use shortening, but we do have the butter. 1/2 cup. Now I'm going to double this because this does not make very many. It says it makes 3 dozen. Those little thumbs back in the 1950s must have been very, very small. I have to make the balls bigger in order to get my thumbprint in them. If you bake often, you know that butter needs to be softened. I would just say if you're gonna make this recipe, just sit out your butter the night before. That makes it perfect. So 1/2 cup of butter. It's gonna be good, you guys. We're going to put the wet ingredients directly into the KitchenAid. If you don't have a KitchenAid, don't worry. You can definitely use a hand mixer. Okay, next ingredient is 1/4 cup of brown sugar. Okay, brown sugar. We're going to want light brown sugar for this. Light brown sugar. I set that on my washing machine. So yes, I have my washing machine and my dryer in my kitchen just so I can be relatable to those of you who have it also. I'm going to tell you this as if you have never baked. Or maybe you've baked and you don't think it's important. But it is important, very important to pat your brown sugar down because that greatly changes the amount of sugar in the recipe. Sugar plays more of a role in your baking than just sweetening your food. It also plays a role in the texture. Okay, it takes 1/4 cup, so that means we need 1/2 cup. Sugar is considered a wet ingredient. That's why it's important you put the right amount. You're missing a liquid if you don't put in all the sugar. Next, put your sugar on your washing machine. 1 egg yolk. Got it. We're going to need 2. We're doubling it. If you're doubling a recipe, remember to double every ingredient, not just some of them. We are saving our egg white today. Okay, so there's our egg yolks. We're going to set aside the egg whites because we're going to need those later. Let's add the egg yolk. This is another wet ingredient. And vanilla. That will be the last wet ingredient. The recipe says to mix it together thoroughly. At this point, I want to review my recipe and make sure that when I doubled it, I did everything correctly. No, I did not, because I did not double the vanilla. Look at me. So I'm just going to add that in now. I'm just going to turn it on low, maybe on 2. Scrape down. All of that deliciousness mixed together well. Okay, now we're going to do our dry ingredients. There aren't a lot of dry ingredients in this. There is just flour and salt. Yeah, this recipe is mostly sugar and butter. All the old recipes in the Betty Crocker cookbook from the 50s or the 60s say gold medal flour. The other day I bought some gold medal flour just for that. But you don't have to. It was just nostalgia. Measuring for baking is really important. Everything has to be exact. So do go ahead and measure by scraping off the top of your cup. This is called the dip level pour method. Does it say that in here? No. But often it will say the dip level pour method. And then the last ingredient I need is salt. 1/4 teaspoon, but we're doubling. I'll put in 1/2 teaspoon instead of 1/4. This recipe is really so simple. It's just that there are steps. That's the thing that makes it more work. You have to roll cookies into balls and chop nuts and dip and do things like that. But now I'm going to just add my dry ingredients into my mixing bowl where the wet ingredients are. Turn the mixer on to maybe 2. Help it a little bit to get mixed in. See how it's starting to come together? That means it's done. I'll go ahead and pull off. You'll want to spill your vanilla out onto your table. Go ahead and scrape your beater. Okay, that looks wonderful. And at this point, you should have basically a ball of dough. I'm just going to roll that up. The recipe does not say to chill this, but it makes it so much easier because it's really sticky when it's warm. But when it's cold, it's not as sticky, and that helps rolling it into balls. So while it's chilling, you might want to get together the rest of the recipe. The other things that I need for the recipe later is the egg white, which we're doing 2 because we're doubling, and the finely chopped nuts. 3/4 cups of chopped nuts. I use pecans. So I need 1.5 cups. But I'm going to start off with 2 because I am going to be chopping them. Get more pecans, please. For the pecans, the more finely chopped, the better, because you're going to be coating these cookies in pecans. And if it's big chunks, it's not going to really coat. That looks pretty good. Nothing happened. And then we'll be using these later to roll the cookies into. So I will pause the camera and I will be back when I'm ready to finish the cookies after they've chilled. So I will see you in a millisecond. I want to slide in, but there's a rug. Hold on. I don't have enough running room. Okay, we are back. My fan and my oven's running, so I hope that that's not going to bother you. I want to ask you guys a question. This is just for fun. Is it later the same day or is it the next day? Comment below, and then at the end of the video you can see whether you are right or not. Actually, you're about to find out right now. So if you haven't commented, comment now. I'm going to show you something and tell you something that's going to give it all away. Remember the dough that I said to chill? This should have probably chilled for an hour or 2. I chilled it overnight. So yes, it is the next day. I'm wearing the same clothes for continuity. for you guys. What to do when you leave your dough too long in the refrigerator. Here's what we're going to do. Those are my measuring cups hanging on the side of my island making that noise. Now that is already pretty good. This is pretty much like it would be if I had left it in for an hour or two as opposed to all night. Remember I said that it makes 3 dozen cookies? Do you see the size of this dough? And this is doubled. So I'm going to divide this into 6 pieces because it ought to make 6 dozen cookies at this point. Show you the ridiculousness of that claim. Ridiculous, I say. So this is supposed to be a dozen. Each of these is supposed to be a dozen. A dozen? Let's go with it. Do you want to move in again so you can see? Each one of these is supposed to be a dozen. Let's look at this. We'll divide that in half. And then we'll divide those. I'm just going to divide this in half. And then I can divide each one into 3 pieces. So look at how big these things were supposed to be. How did they get their thumb in there? Okay, I guess it would work. When I try to get 6 dozen with 2 batches, I normally get maybe 4. But we're gonna try this time. We're gonna try making it the size that they're supposed to be. And this can be a way that you can get your pieces somewhat uniform. Okay, so let's make all of our balls now. Do you have enough light? Can you see? Is everything good? When this hasn't been chilled at all, it's pretty sticky. Okay. It's good. Ta-da! Yay! That looks great. Set your extra supplies on your washing machine. Okay, let's have a look at the recipe again. Roll into balls. Dip in slightly beaten egg white. Roll in nuts. Place about 1 inch apart on ungreased baking sheet and press thumb gently into center of each. I preheated the oven to 350. We are going to try an insulated cookie sheet today. We'll try it with the insulation and without. With an insulated cookie sheet and without. The oven's still making that fan noise. Sorry about that. It's just one of the perils of cooking. Washing warm soapy water. I normally would not do this, but I want to set a good example. While that's drying, because I washed it, we'll start with the regular cookie sheet. The cookie sheets that I normally use come from a restaurant supply, and this is a half sheet. These particular cookie sheets are from my bakery that I used to have in Austin. Slightly beaten egg white. Oh, people are giving away puppies outside Walmart. Do not stop and play with puppies. Very dangerous. Okay, slightly beaten egg white. Okay. That's slightly beaten. Okay, I chopped these pecans yesterday. You saw me do it. Hi. Did you get any puppies?
Oh my god. So many. I just saw them. I almost pulled over.
What kind were they?
I think they were Luckies. Good little ones.
Luckies.
Floppy ears.
You're gonna have to try these too when they get done. You're gonna like them.
I've had them before.
Not with buttercream. It works best not just to roll the dough balls in the nuts, but to actually press the nuts into the dough. So the egg whites from yesterday, and then press that into that. So you get the point of what I'm doing with the nuts. Let me show you what I'm doing with the thumbprint. Go ahead and hold the cookie a little bit because I know that's going to really spread out. And then kind of press the walls back and around it because it'll break open. My oven plays such nice music when it's preheated. Time to consult the cookbook again, and it says bake 10 to 12 minutes or until set. Timer, 10 minutes. Go! Now for the insulated cookie sheet. That's 10 minutes. Smell good, look good, but are they set? Let's give them the 2 more minutes. Yeah, I think those look pretty good. There's the oven. They might get done faster because this is the insulated cookie sheet. And anything could happen. Anything could happen. The insulated sheet. I don't think these got us done in 12 minutes. Okay, last ones. Okay, and now for the most fun part and the most delicious part, I'm going to put on the buttercream. I'm going to use the piping bag, but I also will show you how I have always done it when I'm not making a video. I thought that I would try this little star tip. I'm not going to color my icing because for Christmas you usually want red or green, and those colors are going to come out really pastel, like a pink or a light green, that I don't think looks great for Christmas. I said I'd show you how I've always done this when I'm not making a video. Basically, just scoop up some buttercream, put it on the cookie. Your mouth will be very happy. Oh, that's really good. For you guys, I'm going to do it prettier. Since I'm not doing colored icing, I decided to do some sprinkles. So I kind of like that one, and I like that one. So that's it. That is my twist on the Betty Crocker Thumbprint cookies from the 1960s cookbook. I think that they turned out super cute. Oh no, there's another one that doesn't look very good. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Do you like them or not?
I like them, they're good.
Are they really, really good?
They're really good.
How good?
11.
11 out of
5.